Welcome back, guys, to episode 3 of the King and I Flying Under the Radar podcast. Episode 3. Allen Iverson. Who else is number 3? Can't think of anyone else.
Good question.
But we missed last week because both of us went on some trips ourselves related to Pokemon.
You a little more than me.
A little bit further, just a tad.
Yeah.
I headed out to Dubai, nearly the opposite side of the world, and you went off to Dallas for Collecticon.
That's right.
I mean, for myself and for everybody here, I want to learn about what I missed. I mean, I know there was a lot of talk going up around that event. And being out in a whole new country for a week, I just was oblivious to it all. So,
yeah, well, you know what? If you take a week out of the country, you're going to miss a lot, because every week there's so much going on that, I can understand that. Why don't you give us just a little breakdown about what you were doing in Dubai?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's actually a very interesting story, and it ties pretty closely to you as well. I will have a vlog I'll put out. I'll have a podcast from Dubai that I'll put out, and then maybe like a solo one where I'll talk even more details once all the information is out there. But I traded the 97 Pikachu that you helped me middleman essentially.
This is a story,
and it's I mean, you saw how excited and how big my eyes got when I got to own that Pikachu,
like a kid in a candy store. I'll tell you.
And I wasn't trying to sell it. I wasn't trying to trade it. I wanted to hold on to it for longer than I did. But the right collector came with the right offer, and we couldn't pass it up. So, really, an incredible trade with a good friend, Mr. Fuji. You might know Mr. Fuji.
Yeah, a good friend, both of ours.
Yeah, he's a big time Japanese collector, and
yes,
he came in strong with a phenomenal offer. And we can go into details more of what it all entailed, but we were going back and forth about how we were going to get this deal done, because he's out in Europe. There's still lockdowns going on, so traveling to the US is quite difficult. We wanted to make the deal happen fairly quick because we had other things coming up where I had opportunities with what he offered, and he obviously wanted that card as quick as possible. And he actually offered to fly me out to Dubai. And for myself, the type of person I am, I'm not passing up that opportunity. Again, that's what I'm here for. Is I'm collecting these experiences, right? I'm collecting these relationships, these opportunities to travel. And when that option popped up, I hopped right on it. We booked a flight maybe a week in advance, and I headed straight out. Of course, we made it plan for just a day to do our trade and do everything in person, but I extended it to about 7 days to enjoy Dubai a little bit, get to see the sights, meet some people, eat the foods, do it all.
This has you written all over it. That must have been a great experience.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I mean, did all the touristy things, of course, went up in the tallest building in the world. Visited some of their beautiful beaches, met some new people, and hung out with some locals, and got to see the world. So, really incredible, nice. Really incredible. And we'll have more info on that trade coming out soon. I want to lead up to it. I want to tease people with it. I did show you a little bit of what I got.
Well, this kind of, teaches everybody a little bit of a lesson, and that is it's not always just what items and cash are going back and forth. Sometimes you have to weigh in the experiences that go along with it, along with other things.
Hmm.
So in this case, you got a, I don't know, pretty much once in a lifetime trip, to Dubai, and you count that in amongst your, your side of the deal.
Hmm.
So, people don't think of that, too often, where we travel out of state, we get experiences. I mean, that's all, memories are money, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big advocate for that. I talk about that a
Mhm.
lot. And I know some people look at these types of trips as inconveniences because it's
Uh-huh.
time away from work or it's time away from home. I'm in a position where thankfully I don't have to worry about what's at home. I can just pick up and leave when I want.
Right
So
now, yes. Mhm.
yeah, that's one of the trade-offs, and I can understand that other argument, on the other
Mhm.
side of the argument. But yeah, it's incredible where Pokemon has taken me. I
Well,
just
that's great. I'm going to be really looking forward to the blog, and what to get the rest of the story.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm sure we might have a conversation after I stop recording about a few things,
yeah,
by the way. So,
cool. I can't wait.
but yeah, what about Collecticon? What
Well,
how'd that go?
I've had the opportunity, not just with Pokemon, but other things in the past, to to be involved in conventions, and a lot of fun ones in that. Well, listen, and of course, the world championships of Pokemon over the years, and different regional tournaments and things. I got to tell you something. Nothing touches the experience I had this last weekend in actually Frisco, Texas.
Hmm.
Yeah, just outside of Dallas, at the Collecticon. As far as the arrangements that were made, the way they took care of us, the people that were involved, I mean, the wives of the people that were involved, that all had a hand in what was going on. I mean, I mean, I know they call me King Pokemon, but I'll tell you what, I seriously felt like a king, the way I was treated by these wonderful people. And it worked out so well on their end too, because we pretty much doubled up on expectations.
Hmm.
Double the activity, double the pre-sale tickets,
Oh wow.
double the at the door tickets, double the crowds, waiting to see myself and get pictures taken and autographs, along with Real Breaking Nate, and on Saturday with Leon Hart.
Hmm.
And I mean, this was the first Collecticon.
Hmm.
Formerly PokeCon changed to Collecticon, and I think we're going to keep that name.
Hmm.
It's pretty safe to say, though, the majority of the floor was Pokemon.
Yeah.
Maybe as much as 80-90%.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some sports, there was some, other trading card games. There was a room with free arcade games that all the kids could play, vintage ones like Ms. Pac-Man, and that type. And I mean, it was just fabulous, John. It was such a good experience. Uh, Even though the hours were extended pretty far, we were supposed to be on stage from 1 to 4,
Mm-hmm.
from 1 to 2 to do box breaks and have fun,
Mm-hmm.
and then from 2 to 4 to be meet and greets, taking pictures and autographs.
Mm.
It turned out, because when they first opened up on Saturday morning, there was already 100 people in line 2 hours before we were going to get there.
Oh wow.
And so he asked if we could adjust. And I mean, absolutely, right? I mean, the people, they wanted to see us,
Mm-hmm.
but they also wanted to take advantage of the fun of the convention and get to all the booths and that. So he asked us if we would do from 11 to 1, and then take a little lunch break from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 4.
Mm.
And so that changed from 2 hours into 4 hours. Well, because of the lines, it actually stretched into 5 or 6 hours. being on stage, having, doing the pictures, and I was the one, the young guys, Leon and Nate, they got to sit down at the table and sign autographs. They were able to sit down the whole time. I had to stand up the whole time because I was doing pictures, and with the charity poster, you might have seen some around,
Mm-hmm.
and on the internet, and I had to stand up with the people and then bend over, up and down, signing their cards or their plushes or their breasts or whatever. But I mean, it was just it was just fabulous. I was so rejuvenated the whole time that it didn't hit me until it was over,
Yeah.
and then I was just, I was just so sore everywhere. For the next one, I got to get in better shape. But I mean, it was wonderful, John. And now there's going to be another one, and they're really pleased with us. They want us to all return,
Oh wow.
and that's going to end up being in Houston. Oh, I wonder if I'm supposed to be saying this yet.
Okay, I can be sure to
No,
take
no,
it out.
no. Let's say it. Let's say it.
Okay.
This is going to be coming up, and I'll generalize. Just in a few months. In Houston, assuming everything goes well, and I will certainly be involved along with Twan.
Mm-hmm.
Autism Instruct. She was on stage also, and she has her little fan base. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
I was really surprised. I was really surprised at that. And but so she had a good time because on Saturday we had a babysitter.
Okay.
They were nice enough to, one of the wives took a Kara and was able to babysit so Twan could spend the day on stage. But I mean, the overall experience was beautiful. As you check on the internet, I think you'll see that, and the lines were massive.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all friends, all of us in the community, like with Nate and Leon. And I got to tell you what, these are just terrific friends. And I look forward to, of course, we did some content for them. They like a pack battle with Leon, I think was released yesterday or something.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I destroyed them again.
2-0.
2-0. And now he's already on the phone, on the hack, telling me, when am I coming back? When are you coming back? He
best of 5, best of 7.
So, yeah, let's let Lee wait a little while, and then we'll give him another turn.
Fire him up a little
bit.
I
don't know, did he release one today with Nate? Did you notice?
I have not noticed. I've been working like crazy today, so I haven't had the chance to look at YouTube.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give that one away because he had a pack battle with Nate, and I had a couple cameos in that one.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
for anybody who likes to see my mug, I'm in that one with Nate and Leon. But there again, that was an awful lot of fun. We stayed over on Monday just so we could play with each other, doing stuff and that. So yeah, the general experience was just outstanding, and I seriously can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I talked to a few people about it, and I know Zach was there and Nick, and I of course.
How much fun did we have? Zach.
Yeah, a little too much fun. I can't pass up Dubai if over this one. But I'm hoping to come to the next. I know that there was a sports card show as well nearby in Dallas, and then you said you were in.
I'm sorry. Can you hold on one second?
Yeah, no problem.
So anyway, you heard the hacking story. I want to say something about that.
Yeah, let's that was, I wanted to talk about that as well. Let's wrap up the Dallas Con or the Collecticon real quick, because there were a few things. So I forgot exactly where we left off, but Collecticon was a great show. I'm looking forward to the next one. There's there has been some negative feedback though, and I'm wondering if you've received some of this or been a part of it, because it's unfortunate that there was some pretty negative feedback about Texas and how open they are. No masks.
Right.
Allowing an event like that to happen.
Uh-huh.
during a pandemic. And I've heard a lot of different levels of anger or care about this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been traveling like all over the place
Right.
recently, and I've been getting tested. I've been staying incredibly safe, wearing a mask, hand sanitizer, everything, and I've been perfectly fine. I've quarantined the
Right.
days that I've had to quarantine just to be even safer, and nothing's gone wrong. And I know that this is a very serious situation. People have lost their lives or been very sick
Mm-hmm.
to COVID, but there's a reason that Texas decided to open, and they decided to lift these laws that other people are doing. And
Yeah. Well, there's a quite a few states that have already lifted.
mhm,
And you know what, before committing, I did check. I did a lot of checking on the numbers and to seeing the differences between states and those that have lifted the requirements and those that haven't.
mhm,
And yeah, I checked very now I'm fully vaccinated, so
mhm,
but that doesn't mean everything, right? But anyway, I am. I'm in the group, the second tier, 65 and over,
mhm.
being 67 today.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, so I I did a lot of checking, and the numbers favored Florida, a number of the northern states, Texas, were actually were had better numbers in every single category, even though they had softer limitations in that.
Mhm,
And it was something like 1/10 of the number of suicide rates,
mhm,
especially for kids. Uh, there was just such a big difference. I thought, well, of course, you could go anywhere, your plane could crash, or you could go and you could catch the regular flu that apparently is way, 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 way down because of the mask thing. But the regular flu, and it was I actually believe that the risk wasn't there. There was no longer a risk, at least no more of a risk than there would be, with me staying here and going to the therapies and,
mhm.
doing the stuff I have to do. So,
Yeah, I mean, we're still grocery shopping. We're still going out to eat. We're still
uh
meeting with
huh.
people, like you said, for therapy for your kids, school for your kids, and
Yeah.
as long as you're safe about it and
Yeah. Well,
keep your
if,
distance,
if, if I had to, uh, if you notice the people, and I saw some, that were complaining the most, those were the poor guys who were confined to quarters pretty much, that were living in those states like New York and California. By the way, they're all starting to lift now too.
Mhm,
But what I believe is, if you look in some of those group pictures, those big pictures of us
mhm.
on stage and going out to the audience, 70% wear masks anyway.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that they have a choice to wear them or not. And so, I don't know, something just sounds right about that, considering the numbers were safer if I was going to Texas or Florida compared to going to New York or California.
Mhm.
I'm safer going, to Texas and Florida without those limitations and leaving it up to us.
Right.
Now, I did a lot of the people didn't notice, but most of the time I had a shield on,
Mhm.
a clear shield. We didn't want to hide this pretty face, right? So, so I wore the shield, uh, the majority of the time, but a lot
Mhm.
of the time, and remember, I must have took pictures with, fist pumped or shook hands with 1,000 people.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, that was all just about a week ago, and I feel perfectly fine. So,
Mhm.
anyway, I can understand the concern. A lot of these people that have problems, they're locked in, and then they have to look at us
Mhm.
at a beautiful collectible convention, having fun and meeting with each other, and I mean, I'd be a little bit bitter too.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is, do what's best for yourself. Do what you feel is best for yourself,
Yeah.
and then you can't go wrong.
Yeah, and as you showed, you did research and you looked and you made sure it was a safe place to go, and
Yeah.
it's safe to assume a lot of the people did that as well. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Certainly, I don't want to get sick. At my age, some of my lung difficulties, I'd be one of the last that would want to get sick.
hmm
And I'm not going to take chances, with a 6-year-old and beautiful Twan. And so I just calculated it all out. And it was by far the best choice for me.
hmm
And so and I think we brought a lot of happiness. I don't know if you read through some of the comments. We brought a lot of happiness to the people, and I was really glad. I was really glad that we could do that. So,
yeah, I definitely saw a lot of positivity as well. So,
oh,
I'm glad it went well. I'm sad I missed it. I would have liked to go.
yeah. Well,
Hopefully,
we
hopefully the
missed
next one.
you. Everybody was expecting you.
Yeah, I was ready to go.
Yeah,
I honestly I had a flight ticket. Like I had the flight up ready to buy it, and that's when
yeah.
I got the call that I was going to Dubai, and
Right.
I had to stop. So,
You had to do that. We
yeah,
forgave you.
yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome to hear that it went so well for you and
Yeah.
everybody there. And
And
yeah,
there's more to come.
yeah, I'm
There's more.
excited. I mean, I haven't done a show like that in a long
Mhm.
time, so I'm excited for it. I still have to get vaccinated myself, so that's something that I would calculate as well. If these trips that I take, I'm able to stay solo, stay in small groups, so it's easy
Right.
for me. That's
Yeah.
something that I'll think about as well for the next one, and we'll see where we're at in the world. So,
We should mention one more quick thing about the my time there. One of the big purposes of me going was to get a hold of a box for our charity for
oh
the Aoki
yeah.
Foundation. And sure enough, my new son, Chris from Dumb Money, he came. He had a film crew because they're filming a documentary also,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
he came with the box. He put the box in my hand. I took the box, and now that box is in my safety deposit box here in Las Vegas.
hmm
So you talk about a man of his word, trusting somebody that he had never even met before. Uh, that's pretty strong. I mean, that's pretty strong. So as we get word about this documentary, I'll keep our followers here on our followers on this podcast informed
hmm
before anybody else, about what's going on with that. And remember, that's like a $500,000 box now, and 100% is going to charity.
Yeah.
It's not, like like Logan's polls and that, where, he gets a profit, which he should.
hmm
But this one is going 100%, to charity. So this is going, and you're going to be out here for the event. That's going to
Oh
be
yeah.
October. That's going to be October 9th. And I mean, all the big wheels are going to be here, and it's going to be so much fun. And so anyway, I got the box. Everything is on, and the next time that box, sees air, sees light, it's going to be at our event on October 9th for that box break. And so,
Awesome.
we're really excited about that. It took getting the box in my hand before we could start, going ahead.
hmm
Now we got it. It's all finished. And unless I get anxious and have to start opening packs, it's going to be safe right there to
Well, knowing you, you're not going to open packs. I've bugged you for years
yeah.
to open something, and you won't. So I'm confident that that's in the right hands. But I'm
Yeah, and
excited for that.
also with that, there's only, they open the box, they weighed all the packs to make sure
Okay.
the proper amount. They took one light pack, they opened it up to
hmm
make sure that it was first edition, which of course it was. And then the box was sealed and security stamped and everything. So that box right now, I haven't discussed this. That box right now has 35 packs inside.
Mm.
The 36th pack I gave to Leon,
Mm.
because he was there for that, and that's what Chris wanted. That was one with a rare trainer inside or something,
Yeah.
and a couple starters too. So pretty cool pack. But that means there's 35 packs in there, and 12 of them are hollows. So it's even a little bit better percentage than all these other, boxes you've seen opened.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. That's going to be
yeah,
really exciting. I can't wait. And
yeah.
yeah, I will be there. I'm gonna
Mhm.
make sure of it.
Yep.
Because that's something that I still haven't experienced yet. Is a first. I've opened first ed base packs, but never
I know
a
you've been
box.
pretty successful opening first base pack.
Yes, yeah. Thankfully, thankfully. So yeah, I hope to be there for an entire box. That will be a really special, like just nostalgic, close to home thing. So,
Yes.
speaking of charity events, the
Mhm.
Japanese base set box with Whatnot,
Oh.
we've had to mix things up because, um,
Mhm.
you know, a lot of our schedules have been messed up, but we're
Right.
figuring out finalizing dates and how we're gonna get this done. Um,
Mhm.
but it's still gonna happen. I just don't have the details yet. So
Yeah,
um,
something else for the community to look forward to,
yeah,
because it will happen. It's
hmm
just a matter of tying up loose ends and that, and that might be a first.
yeah, yeah, maybe. Trying to think
Mhm.
what the last one was. I think PokeRev did one
Oh, he did.
with his
Mhm.
channel, possibly. But yeah, it's that's one you don't see very often, even less
No.
often now than first edition base set, which is odd. Um,
Right.
but yeah, that's awesome. There's so many great things happening this year. I mean, I mean, I still
Mhm.
sit in fear a little bit of where the market's headed, and watching sports kind of be even more volatile than Pokemon is. I always get worried, but I'm having fun, enjoying everything that I can, and
Right.
it's going well. So
Yeah.
can't be worrying about all that. Um,
Well, you know something. You're a very strong reason why a lot of this fun activity is going on, because the stuff you're doing and the stuff you're bringing to market is super exciting and unique.
yeah,
So you keep it up.
thank you. Yeah, I like opening up these doors to the trophy cards that have been locked up for so
Uh-huh.
long. All these private deals happening. I want the world to know. I want the world to
I
experience it.
know. I
You know,
know.
it makes it more fun. I might ruin it for the guy that was trying to get something and now the price goes up, but I,
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's life. And no,
Yeah,
that's life.
yeah.
You got to grow. Sometimes you just got to grow up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to take a look back at our last episode here and try
Yeah.
to do a couple questions.
Yes.
Um, and I don't want to go too late here. We had to stop for a second there. But let's see. Let's just dive right in.
I'll try to be
Um,
brief.
I gotta find a good one. I didn't really vet these questions beforehand.
Can I
Uh,
give okay, when you're ready, I wanna give you one
all
that I
right,
got.
all right. Well, let's ask this one first.
Uh-huh.
Um, from Dark Lava Lizard. What does Gary's Japanese card collection consist of? Set cards,
Yeah.
promos, any trophies?
Okay, I don't discuss my deep collectibles,
Hmm.
the ones that I keep in California.
Right.
I don't discuss those because, uh, I if I can't tell the truth, I'd rather not, say anything at all. So in those cases, I don't discuss,
Hmm.
what's in my collection. But I can tell you, I mean, in my deep collection and everything else, I mean, all the early sets, all the sets, through the gyms, I collected adamantly, and I have several sets, and I have
Hmm.
graded cards, and they were pretty simple tens for me,
Yeah.
because I had quite a few to go through, and all I had to do was look for centering, and it was a 10. I knew it, so it was simple. Uh, so yeah, I do have a bit of a Japanese collection. Now after 2001 or 2, whatever it was, I started concentrating only on English, because the hobby was going down a little bit, and
Hmm.
and that's where my attention was needed. So
Did you ever
anything
get
after
into
2000. Mhm.
Did you ever get into the Japanese boxes like you did English boxes? Or
I
did
didn't.
you? You didn't.
I
Okay.
got Japanese boxes, and I opened them for sets.
Hmm. Okay.
That was it. I don't think, see, somebody from 25 years ago might pop up and say, "Ah, Gary lied about." I don't remember ever selling a Japanese box. Now I certainly opened them, for my collection, but I honestly don't remember ever selling any of the early set boxes. Maybe a VS box or something here or there, but no, never sold them. Just got them and opened them, built collections, sold some, things like that.
Very cool. We got Pokey Snuff on IG asks, are you glad you didn't sell the Pawn Stars? What do you think would have happened if you had? And do you think Rick cries himself to sleep every night?
Yeah. Okay. Well, in a nutshell, the negotiation for that show was 100% legit. I set my price over market. Rick had his opportunity to buy them over market. The market might have been about 400,000. I wanted 500,000. I knew Rick wouldn't pay it, so I'd have to worry about it. But yes, I assure you, they haven't called me back. You don't know. I have most of those cards still. I would love to go back in with that same bunch of cards and say, what about now, Rick? $10 million for you.
That would be a great follow-up episode.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's losing any sleep, no. But it has to be his biggest fail in the history of the show. Probably. That he didn't at least make an effort. Not that he would have got him, but at least make an effort to get him.
Yeah, I wonder how often he gets asked about that. I'm sure a lot more than he hoped.
Probably most often by Chumley.
Yeah.
What were you doing, Rick? What were you thinking?
I haven't heard from Chumley in a long time in Pokemon. I don't know if he's still doing it or what he's been up to, because I know he tried to do a YouTube channel and started like a competitive team, and he was at Worlds in 2017, and I just haven't seen or heard much from him.
Right. I don't have an update on Chumley, even though he lives close enough where I could just about jump into his yard. But no, I don't know.
What's the question you have for me?
Oh, okay. There was a post recently. Are you familiar with the girl Caribou?
Yes.
Okay. Now she ran a real hit piece on the hobby, on scalpers and everything. And I have always contended that also my picture was put on there too, which I didn't appreciate. Somebody who loves the hobby and cares about the hobby and has done as much as I've done to put me in a critical light, I didn't appreciate that at all. But what my biggest complaint was, blaming everybody except who's responsible for this whole thing, blaming the scalpers, blaming the influencers, blaming all the guys opening boxes, guys hoarding boxes, and not blaming, the Pokemon Company International, the ones that can fill the demand, the ones who supply the product. That's where the fault lies. In my opinion, that's where, they just simply didn't put out enough product. They weren't insightful enough. And yet to go through a horrible diatribe, honest to God, John, after watching her, that hour thing or whatever it was, I felt like jumping out of the hobby. I was so depressed. I wanted to get out of the hobby. And I thought, whoa, I said, this is just awful. Now, having complaints, being critical is all perfectly fine. But to make that, the whole centerpiece of a diatribe is just out of line to me. There's 90% positive in this hobby and there's 10% negative. So keep your content that way. Keep your content 90% positive, and then fit in some of the things you're critical about. That's absolutely okay. So, having seen it yourself, I know I do overreact a bit when it comes to things like that, especially, they're showing Leon and they're showing Nate and they're showing PokeRev. Don't do that. So anyway, that's how I felt. And I was really curious how you felt about that.
not too many people have really gotten to know me, and my personality is very, very level-headed.
Hmm.
Like anybody, I'll spike up and down here and there and react at stuff, but I I I see I look at every every situation from so many different perspectives.
Hmm.
It's I think it's an issue I have because my mind I can never stop my mind from running and thinking about these things. I'd say I'm an overthinker, but in a healthy way now. I used to be an overthinker where I would let it affect my emotions, affect me, affect my decision making. But now I've done it so much, I think I've perfected it where I overthink and I'm able to sit back
Right.
and come up with the right decision or what I think is the right decision.
Hmm.
And a part of me really disagrees with what she said. Um,
Hmm.
but like again, a
Oh,
part
I'm in the minority. I know that
and a part of
for
me does,
sure.
look, I feel terrible for the little kids who cannot go to Target and buy a pack
Hmm.
and enjoy Pokemon like I did when I was a kid, like others did when they were kids throughout this whole time.
Hmm.
We just have to understand that, yeah, Pokemon failed in providing enough supply, and but they did not
For
expect,
2 years.
but they didn't expect this demand, and they also didn't expect these types of shutdowns to happen.
Hmm.
Sure, they've probably been able to catch up at into some capacity, but still, it's an unprecedented time for Pokemon,
Hmm.
and I, I don't think anybody can be prepared for this. As
Yeah.
and I think the way that she made that video, she brought up good points, but she didn't provide any sort of light or type or ideas for solutions or
Right.
yeah, she kept it very negative. There wasn't any much of a positive light shown at
Hmm.
all. I mean, this is an amazing time for Pokemon. Yeah, it sucks, but it's the greatest time. Like again, for myself, I've been lucky enough to put myself in this position to experience it to the fullest. But
Hmm.
you know, I I I have a little bit of the cynical side of me that looks at this and the people that are complaining. Would you actually be here if the prices weren't at what they're at? Would you be here without Logan Paul, the person you're blaming for the prices to rise? Would you be
Hmm.
here? And the answer is probably no, because if you were here before that, you had all the access in the world to all the
Hmm.
Pokemon cards you could have wanted. And I mean, even beforehand, cards were expensive, but if
Hmm.
you worked towards it, you could get it. I remember when I first got back into the hobby seriously in 2015, my goal
Hmm.
was a first edition base set booster box. They were $10,000 or so. I couldn't afford it, but I was
Hmm.
chasing it.
Right.
And it continued to climb. I continued to make more money as I did Pokemon. It, did better at my my real life job and got
Uh-huh.
promotions but the box just kept climbing at a faster pace that I could reach. And I was looking at it at every different price point 10,000, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, all the way up until Logan Paul at like 200,000. I was getting close to getting a box at 200,000, but it was
Right.
still, even at that price, it was a stupid purchase. It was something I could not truly afford, but if I
Right.
worked towards it, I could have gotten it. And, it's just,
If I could jump in,
yeah.
I have to disagree with the point that it's unprecedented.
Really?
I've been through this before. I've been through this like 3, 4 times in the hobby, where the production didn't meet the supply.
Oh.
And the very first case is in 1999 when they came out.
Hmm.
I mean, there was just nothing available anywhere. They put that, and now that's understandable. It was a brand new product. It was the very first year. There was zero popularity at the time. There was only rumors on what was going to come, but I mean, I was driving out of state to pick up Pokemon cards and
Hmm.
packs and things. I couldn't, I would scrounge through Frank and Son every single Wednesday and Saturday, every single booth, just hoping to find a couple packs of cards. And there was nothing available. back then we understood, we
Yeah.
understood it was a brand new product, and things will jump if things get popular right away. They jump to the secondary market. This also started happening in 2006. We had the same situation. We started popularity started to increase some,
Hmm.
and Pokemon, or actually starting with the EX series towards the end, and they just simply, there was little more popularity was growing, but those things were printed in very short demand
Hmm.
and a very short supply. And 2012, 2016, we
Mm.
went through this with Pokemon Go. And in other
Well,
words, this stuff happens. This stuff happens. And of course, people are gonna, take advantage of it,
mhm.
money wise. If you but as far, I mean, the way that she was talking, like, this is, people are going to leave the hobby, people are broken hearted and we're never going to see him again. It's going to kill the hobby. Well, this is, 22 years after that first time. And
Mhm.
honest, you got to admit, it hasn't caused any problem with losing the hobby. So,
This
but
hobby is
but
so much
now,
bigger than people think. It's,
yeah.
they, yes, people have voices, but
Mhm.
it's so minute compared to what we actually think. This company is massive worldwide, and
Yeah.
the demand is just extraordinary right now.
Right.
And it's like we're people are laser focused on specific points in the hobby, and they're not looking at it as a whole. There's so many affordable things to go after. There's so much availability out there on
Mhm.
online in the market, and people are just laser focused on Pikachu illustrators and
Right.
hidden fates or shining fates, like the two
Yeah.
things that number one are, uh, the illustrator is unattainable for 99% of the world, 99.999% of the world. And then Shining Fates is unattainable because 99% of the world wants it. So you need to open up your eyes.
Yeah.
You need
I
it.
think so.
If this is gonna make you leave the hobby that you love so much, do you actually
Mhm.
truly love this hobby?
Well, Scott Pratt had a great line I saw on E4 about this, whereas he said he started watching her video, and when she got to the point where she said, that you couldn't get, that there was just no hidden fates, you would travel the entire state, couldn't find any. And Scott said he immediately typed in hidden fates on eBay, and there were 3,500 hidden fates listings
Yeah.
for everything from single cards to packs to boxes. So, you now, were there price increases?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's that's just what's going to happen. But I thought he had a great line. He said he stopped watching her video at that point.
Hmm. And that's something that is what I think people are blinded by. They're not understanding and realizing what they're in this for. Because those
Hmm.
people, it's all about the money. All about the
Yes,
money. If
sure.
if you were able to buy these at $50, or $50 ETBs at
Hmm.
retail price, and you couldn't sell them for $70, would people actually still want them and complain and not
Of
buy them?
course not.
They want it.
Right,
They want it.
right. Yeah, they still would.
The reason that we're in this market is not because of these YouTubers. It's
Hmm.
because of everybody. Sure, there's a little bit of blame on all of us, but the blame is
Hmm.
our demand. It's because we want this product,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't have, there's no good with bad. So if we didn't have this bad, nobody would be doing this. It wouldn't be fun at all. Nobody would be collecting, but
Hmm.
it wouldn't be worth our time.
No.
It's really unbelievable to me to how close-minded people are in this type of
Hmm.
world. Like, it, this isn't just Pokemon. This what's happening now, the way that you're thinking, feeling, acting can be translated to any different part in your life. And if people don't realize that, can't learn and grow from this, they're going to struggle for the rest of their life. and it's
Yeah,
not going to be fun.
I think we've talked before how I felt going to the McDonald's and not being able to get a Happy Meal for a Kara for the 6-year-old. And
Hmm.
of course I felt bad, and I thought this is wrong, but I felt bad because of the franchise owners. They were the ones getting the 800 count boxes and offloading them, and then putting little toys in the Happy Meals instead of those cards.
Hmm.
It was because of them, and because I think in this case, I think the supply was pretty much out there,
Oh yeah.
by the Pokemon company. I mean, there were billions of those, Pokemon things, but many of the franchise owners just decided to take a quick profit on them,
Hmm.
and so that's, but I felt bad. I understand that. I understand. I mean, back in '99, I had an 8 and a 9-year old who wanted these packs, and I mean, you know, I I went to Arizona, and I went to Utah, and I went to Nevada, and Northern California, trying to get a good supply of packs and things. And then we get extras. We would fill our sets.
Hmm.
We would trade them like crazy, and if I had any left over, then I would sell them. And on Yahoo auctions.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
this is
that's what makes this so much fun.
I know that's what makes it
That
memories.
experience of driving around, going places with your wife, your kids, your friends,
Hmm.
trying to find
Hmm.
Pokemon, struggling together, succeeding together, trading
Right.
together, doing all this together. Like that's what people need to
Mhm.
look at. You need to stop worrying so much about, oh, I can't, your wallet, the amount of money that things are
Mhm.
going for. There's affordable
Right.
items out there.
There
Focus,
is.
focus and work towards it and enjoy
There you
it
go.
and enjoy
Right.
the moments that you're sharing with everybody around you doing the same exact thing.
Like what you and I were saying earlier about the experience of your deal making.
Hmm.
The experience in itself has value. Just like these experiences. I could give you, 50 stories, having to do with me throwing the boys in the car and going searching for cards, cards for them. I mean, there are a lot of stories, going out of state and, breaking down on the highway. And I mean, just so many things. Yeah, it's the whole experience of it. If every single time you could just run down to Target and pick up absolutely anything you want, well, you lose the experience. Yeah, you have a whole bunch of cards,
Hmm.
but you don't have the experience. But you see, my biggest complaint with that video, wasn't all this what we're saying, but it's just that it didn't have any positivity in it.
Yeah.
It didn't give the positive side of the hobby. And that's what bothered me. Like I said, I got so depressed after watching that, that it made me feel that I picked the wrong hobby.
Hmm.
and and then she had one little box that she's giving away, as if that's going to solve all the woes of 50 million people that can't get what they want.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I was super annoyed by that, and in my opinion, rightfully so. But I understand I'm in the minority. uh but I know, if I, just like our stories with PSA,
Hmm.
if I was running TPCI, I got to think I would do a better job on forecasting future numbers.
Hmm.
And so, anyway, well, that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been reacting to it, talking to me about it, and
Hmm.
asking my feeling, and I think it's important because it's it's something that we're all in this together, and
Right.
sure we walk different paths in our lives and
Hmm.
we do different things with Pokemon, but I mean, yeah, I can't enjoy opening up modern product either. But I'm
Right.
not sitting here complaining about it.
No,
I'm moving
no,
forward.
you're flying off to Dubai, and
Exactly. I'm finding something else to do to better my life, and
yes.
when I get that opportunity to get modern, fantastic. I
Right.
understand, just like you understand how this works, and
Yeah.
that's the number one way to go about it.
Right.
But all right, we've beat that one with a dead horse.
All right.
Let's see. Let's get some other questions here before we log off.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Does Gary have a set of Fossil Cosmo Hollows? Is there any backstory to their release? The Cosmo Hollows, is that the red logo set? Is that the
Yeah, they
1999
have the
2000
round.
set?
I don't.
Yeah.
The short answer is I don't. Uh, we just simply never. When I was collecting those, we just simply never paid attention to that.
Hmm.
And now there are some sprinkled around my collection.
Yeah.
My collection of fossil. There's some sprinkled around, but simply by accident, never paid attention to those. And kind of, it's for me, it's kind of swirls were there, just figured it was part of the hollow pattern, but never gave it any thought years ago. And now recently, of course, the swirls, and honest to goodness, I think it's pretty cool. Somebody builds a swirl set or somebody builds a Cosmo set. I actually love that. I love that, the idea of that. Expanding the hobby a little bit. The even the no rarity Japanese cards. There
Yeah.
again, I had a bunch of those all over the place. They were just simply not recognized as being special until our boy Pokesin uh, turned it into a monster. Good job by him. Props to him, by the way.
Hmm.
But that it was another thing. I had plenty of those just by accident. They weren't recognized as being anything special. Now they are, and people are actually trying to build sets, like you said. And I think it's terrific. I think it's a fun variant, to mess around with. I wish I had done more, paid more attention to those things.
Yeah, that's a tough one to pick up. That's very far. Like that's deep into the collector variant
Right.
life. Like
Yeah.
that'll take you years to figure that one out and really go after
Also, those
it.
Japanese cards were cheap. Those Japanese cards, like with the no rarity, they had no, they were just, cheap. They were 3, 4, $5, and with or without a rarity symbol, and so it didn't, money wise, it just didn't make sense, or didn't make sense to waste too much time on them, and that's kind of what it was like with the Cosmo Hollows. So, and the swirls, they were just an oddity. They weren't a collectible. But I like the fact that they are. And if I were starting over, I would have paid attention. Like, my no symbol
Yeah.
enthusiasm. Love that. I went out of my way, to get those. So that I did pay attention to that.
All right, I have a unique question here. I scrolled through some
Yes.
stuff um, from humility here. What is the best and the worst part of autism?
Yeah, well, autism is a spectrum. It goes from severe, to high functioning,
Hmm.
and so that would require like a little more information. Uh, I can tell you my experience, like with our little girl, uh, the difficulty, the social difficulties. When she's in a playroom with a bunch of kids, all the kids are slamming around, having fun in that, and she's always off to the side doing her own thing. So a little bit socially awkward, which goes on, into adulthood. Uh, but with therapy, that not quite as bad. The best thing about it is that without it, we wouldn't have Pokemon. So
Yeah.
I think that's the best part of autism, is that because of autism, we have Pokemon. So
Yeah, the creator has autism, so
yes,
it's part of his
Satoshi Tajiri.
Tajiri, yeah, part of his creative mind. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm,
I don't have any close to home personal experience, but
mhm,
I've been honored to spend time with you and your daughter, and um,
mhm.
actually, I've talked about the show Atypical that was on Netflix, which was kind of the first time that I really sat down and paid attention to it. It seemed pretty well done, well put together on the life of living with I think he was a high school brother. He had an older sister and his two parents, and
Uh-huh.
they kind of went through the difficulties and the special things in the life that
Mhm.
that come up. And it's funny. I don't know if you've caught this, but the times that I've been with you
Hmm.
and Akara, and we've gone to therapy sessions and dropped her off and talked about
Uh-huh.
certain things, they're not. It's not so much. You bring up little instances of what might be different for her, and I'll point out, well, I'm kind of the same way. Although, I'm more, I guess I'm able to control it better, of course.
Right.
Not having autism, but
Hmm.
we're very much alike. I mean, Akara is very just, she knows what she likes, she knows what she's doing, and if something changes, she doesn't like it. And I
Well,
think,
a lot of autistic influencers that you can find on YouTube, they 100% agree with you. They are, listen, I have nothing that needs to be fixed.
mhm,
I'm autistic. I have certain things that suit me and certain things that don't. That is true, like what you just said, with all of us.
yeah,
That we have our certain similarities in that, and there are more severe times. There are breakdowns that we don't do. You might call it, like a tantrum for a young person or an adult.
mhm,
So there are some, things, some sensory problems like that, but nothing that can't be overcome. Nothing that is 100% unique to autism, like you're relating to. Uh, but let me bring up something about the Collecticon show. I I mean, I'm not going to exaggerate. At least 2 dozen people that came up to me, either wandering around or on stage, came up and thanked me for my work with autism and that they're autistic and it meant a lot to them. Or they said, now Asperger's is like high functioning autism.
mhm,
Or they would come around and say, yeah, I have Asperger's syndrome. And I said, oh, that's cool. Because listen, that is cool. That's 100% what they are. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just something that you have to overcome. I mean, if you're 5'5", you can't dunk a basketball.
unless
That's
you're Spud Webb.
yeah, that's just the way. Yeah, unless you're what, Mookie Betts or
Mookie,
something.
yeah, Spud Webb or Nate
Bud
Robinson.
Webb, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
unless you're one of these guys. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with being who you are, and you just got to learn how to handle things a little bit better,
Mhm.
which is why therapy is critical, for those people. But I was so warmed by people actually coming up to me and saying, I'm autistic.
Mhm.
You know, that was so much in the shadows, not just for the kids, but for the parents. I'll tell every brand new person I speak to, I'll say, oh yeah, well, she's acting a little funny, she's autistic. It means nothing for me to say that.
Mhm.
There's no shame whatsoever, because that's just simply what she is and what
Mhm.
she has, and she has red hair, you could say. It just doesn't make it. So I love the fact that at the shows, those young people came up to me. So many identify with Pokemon thanks to Jerry, and they see it, that this is really their game. They can really identify with a lot of this. And one out of every 50 or 60 kids born has autism. Now, I don't know how big your school classes were, maybe 30 to 50 or something, but
Yeah.
that means almost, one out of every classroom is autistic. Now, that's a lot of autistic people. There's nothing wrong with being autistic. In fact, when they come up and tell me, it's almost like a matter of pride that
Mm.
they have autism.
And that's something that a lot of people can't do about, with
Mhm.
like simply put, the most perfect example, nerds, Pokemon people.
Right. Mhm.
Look at how proud we are now
I
of
know.
how we collect Pokemon, love Pokemon,
Mhm.
involved with Pokemon. All throughout middle school, high school, even college, I wouldn't say a peep. It would come out every now and then, but
Right.
I kept
Mhm.
it to myself, and it's completely changed. So there's so
Yeah,
many.
who's cool now?
Exactly. Exactly. So it's really amazing how everybody is different, but we're all
Right.
very similar as well. I it's something that we need to be aware of, and and
it's not
express to
just
the world.
nerds. You
Right.
take these guys like Steve Aoki, one of the top performers in the world for the last 20 years, loves Pokemon. He just totally loves. But you take Logan Paul, no one's gonna call him a nerd, or whatever, or whatever. These rappers and I mean, I don't want to say his name, but just recently a linebacker for the New York Giants. He's been in touch with me, wants me to come down, break cards. And here we're talking about an all-star linebacker in the NFL. I mean, it's nerds and non-nerds. It's just for everybody, but it's a place where the nerds can get together with the non-nerds and it's all one community. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible, and
Yeah.
that's the positivity we need. So I want to end
That's
it
what I
off
wanted
there.
in that video.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It'll come back around. It's all
Right.
the yin and yang. It'll all come back around. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for watching episode 3. Be sure to leave some questions below for our next episode. Hopefully we get Gary a new Instagram account. Did we want to talk about that? We didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk, but I can do quickly. I was hacked today. Very disappointing. Somebody was trying to get money out of my followers or something, by saying I would sell a PSA 10 Lugia and PSA 10 Shining Charizard or Gold Star Charizard, and for 60,000. But any of my followers pretty much know that Gary's not going to sell $130,000 worth of stuff for 60,000. And for crypto, I mean, John, I can't even spell crypto. But Gary's going to ask for crypto payments or something. I don't even know what that is. So anyway, I hope none of my followers got it. I love the fact that the majority of my followers, either message me privately or things like that, outside of Instagram, because I couldn't even get into my Instagram, but messaged me outside and said, we're plastering this all over the internet that
it was all over. Yeah.
That King Pokemon was hacked, and now Steve Aoki actually is helping me get this corrected, with his social media expert, because I don't want to lose my account. Almost a year and a half, and I have like 38,000 followers. I don't want to lose that. Though a lot of the guys told me, don't worry about it. If you lose your account, we'll get you right back up there. The pokeradars and Leon Hearts and and Darian and everybody would get me right. But I love my group of followers because I love canceling people. I love deleting people that I know have nothing to do with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so my 38,000 followers were solid, solid community members. And so anyway, that did happen. I'm sorry it happened. I have no idea how it happened. But hopefully it'll be back up. Now that the account is totally deleted now, but I understand there's like a 30-day thing or something. We might be able to retrieve it and get it back up. If anybody here is with Instagram or has influence, please, contact me. Contact me separately. You can do it right through this video, and let me know how can I get this changed, get back to normal. I was pretty heartbroken.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to go through, and it's scary.
Yeah,
it's an uncomfortable feeling to have something like that happen, and but yeah, at the worst, I guess it's a nice fresh start for you. You get to maybe pick a new name or I don't know, experiment with something. But hopefully, we get that account back and.
No, let's get it back.
Yeah.
Let's get it back and just go back to the way.
Normal. Yeah.
That's ideal. That would be ideal for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, thank you guys again. Thank you for all the love and support we've been getting on these podcast episodes. It's been loads of fun. So looking forward to doing the next episode.
And sorry we talked so much in the beginning about our trips because we want to answer a lot more questions. And maybe starting next week we'll do a lot more of question answering.
Yes.
And maybe I'll give a little bit shorter answers so we can fit more in.
I think people appreciate the well thought out, detailed answers.
Oh, good.
All
right.
Me and you, we're very bright, so we're gonna weed out the questions that aren't very in depth and well put together. So ask good questions, you get good answers.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yes. All right, guys. Thank you, John.